Niall, a 3-0 defeat to Larne here today at Inver Park. What's your thoughts on that one?
Well, I was really disappointed with the first half more than anything, Ryan. We've done everything that we talked about before the game. We've done everything that we didn't want, really. You know, we knew that it was always going to be difficult. They're a fantastic ball-playing team and with a big pitch. But we never give ourselves a chance. In the first 45 minutes, sat off them, let them play in front of us and chased without actually applying pressure, if that makes sense, Ryan. We didn't put any pressure and force them into mistakes at any stage. We let them play in front of us, and ultimately, whenever you let that kind of quality have the ball so much and runners off shoulders and third man runs and triangles and stuff like that, then it's only so long. But again, I think the goals we conceded, Ryan, you could see they were poor goals. You know, I think Lynch's third goal there is a ball that comes out of the sky, takes a first touch, cuts in between all our three centre halves, and as I say, I don't think you can legislate for that. We've got to be better, and defensively we're all over the place in the first half, if we're being honest about it. So, but again, and this is what I said to the players, you know, it's very frustrating whenever you come off defensively doing well in the last few games, and then you come and see that today, and that's just back to the bad old ways, and we've got to reboot it again for Tuesday night. But as I say, first half was totally unacceptable, Ryan, and I've told the players that, and they know that. So as I say, you know, second half was much better. We looked at better shape about ourselves defensively and stuff like that, but ultimately the damage was done.
We've obviously highlighted the problems defensively, but going forward as well, you know, we're still creating some half chances there, but maybe just still lacking that cutting edge up front.
I thought JJ had a couple of good wee chances. You know, I think he might have got a wee push in the back there for one of them, but he certainly was through in a one-on-one. Carrick was through at the end as well. We weren't even close to getting that situation evolved in the first half, to be fair, Ryan. But I think, you know, when you come to places like this here, that the chances are going to be very limited. You know, when you come here, 70% of the ball goes missing off you, and we understood that, but I think the difference was, you know, a wee bit earlier in the season when we had the options that we did, we were able to break out in teams and hurt them and take our chances. But I'm not blaming it. I thought JJ and Carrick burrowed a very difficult shift today because our midfield weren't close enough to them to go and help them and give them support, and because our gaps weren't right today. You know, we had our back five in, we had our midfielders in, and then we had a 20-30 yard gap to the strikers. So the strikers weren't given any opportunity today, in my opinion. But they did work hard out of possession, but they weren't given a chance today. You know, thankfully, when we got the three up top, we looked a wee bit more lively, and defensively we were a lot more solid. But you know, it's difficult coming here, Ryan. There's no doubt about that. It's a difficult place to come, but I don't think we done ourselves any favours, especially in the first half. And I think, again, you know, as we talked about with the players, we'll always be honest. You know, ultimately in the first half, we weren't aggressive. We didn't work hard enough, and we got what we deserved. And that's the reality of the situation. We had no aggression about us. We had no of that enthusiasm and endeavour and hunger about us in the first half. And ultimately, that's why the game was over at half time. But you know, as I said to the players, ultimately that has to be our first go-to. First go-to has to be, we need to be up for it, we need to be close to people, we need to force mistakes, we need to be hungry all over the pitch, we need to win first ball and second, but that has to be the first forte for us, and we didn't have that in the first 45 minutes, Ryan, and that's what the huge disappointment to me was in regards to the first half when the game was basically over.
Ultimately then that led to you changing the shape in the second half. What was your kind of thoughts behind putting more bodies in the midfield, it looked like?
Yeah, I think you know, whenever we went to the back four, you know, their three were pretty much rotating. McDavid was popping in the pockets and Donnelly was floating around. It maybe give us an extra body to go in actually and do a job in there. So we tried to close the gaps really, Ryan, more so than anything. And but as I say, their movement in front of you is very difficult, and sometimes we were caught in no man's land. We didn't know where to go in with them, didn't know where to set our ground and fill the spaces. But ultimately, we looked a lot better in the second half, you know, shape-wise, and we looked a lot better in regards to the solidness of it. They weren't getting down, at least they weren't running through the centre of our defence willy-nilly. So, yeah, well, as I said, at least we got a reaction in the second half, Ryan, to be fair. You know, we were closer to them, we did put pressure on them. I know we were chasing for long periods, but we did break out and have a couple of good chances as well. But I don't think there's putting any icing on the cake. You know, we were well beat today, and I think if we're being honest about it, that's the way it was.
A bit of a blow early doors as well. Daniel Kelly forced off for injury. Is there any update on how he's doing?
It's the same knee he had a couple of weeks ago, but settled down well, to be fair, the last time. So we'll see how he settles down over the next couple of days. We're hopeful. I don't think it's as bad as what we first feared, but you know, he's a huge player for us, and again we miss him when he doesn't play. You know, so we'll hopefully see how long he is. But Reece came in and done a good job today there again. So as I say, we'll just gauge everything as we have been doing, Ryan, and see what bodies are available. I thought we looked tired today. I thought some players looked tired today. I thought Lloyd was maybe a game too far for him. That's maybe where I got it wrong today. I thought he had no. I know he's Mr. Bionic Man, if you know what I mean. He always feels as if he's good, but I thought he looked leggy today, and there was no disrespect to him. He just looked a wee bit leggy and heavy leg. We know we had the Big Jordan was in the same boat. Big Yaya, you know, he's looked leggy this last few games, so took the opportunity to rest him today. And as I say, I'm glad I got Lloydie off the pitch there after 65 minutes, because you know, he will always give you everything, but he definitely he won't admit it, but he looked leggy and he looked tired today.
Lastly, looking forward to Tuesday then. We're back at home, Crusaders the visitors. It'll be another tough game, they all are.
Yes, well we've got to be braver. We've got to be braver on Tuesday night, and try and get in the front foot and pick up first and second ball and hurry and harass them, and see if we can take the chances that we get, because we'll get chances. You know, it's on our pitch. We got to shut the gaps down and go back to basics again and look solid. That's the foundation. We'll have to look solid, you know. But I do think we'll be able to cause them a few problems. And as I say, we've a couple of different options now. So we'll give them a rattle. And as I say, fingers crossed we can start the game properly. You know, if we start the game properly and try and have that high intensity that we want from every game. I thought that was missing, as I said, ran in the first half. But if we can get that high intensity started right from the start against the Cruise, then we know we'll cause some problems. And as I say, that has to be the ultimate game. But we'll need to start. The focal point will have to start with that hunger, desire, and the intensity that we need to play with. You know, and that's not being disrespectful to anybody. We need that in our game. And unfortunately, for the first 45 minutes, it was missing today.